Mike, how am I sounding?
You sound real good.
Thanks, Mike.
Da, 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 here he comes.
Welcome to another edition of Hotboxin with Mike Tyson. Mike, what's up, my brother?
Hey, man, Eben, man, it's a beautiful day here. We got a great guest.
No doubt, another day in paradise. And today, we've got the man, Tito Ortiz, in the house. Tito, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate it.
You know, I was just telling you before this, I grew up playing a video game with you in it, the UFC video game on Dreamcast, and that's a trip. But, man, I mean, I think that the best way to start this thing off is to, you know, for me, knowing a little bit about your life story. You know, you've faced a lot of adversity in your life. And to get to, you know, the point where you're a UFC champion, you know, you were at the pinnacle of your profession, of your art form. And, you know, what's that like, man? How did you get from, you know, a kid in Huntington Beach, California to UFC champion and who you are today?
Wow, how much time do we have? Jeez, no, I can go back. No, I guess it started, you know, at the age 6, living in Huntington Beach. Life was normal. You know, my father was a carpenter. My mother was a live-at-home mother. And life was, I got to school. My mom picked me up, dropped me off. I'd come home, play with my friends, you know. We grew up in the punk rock era. My brothers smoked weed. They drank and pushed weed on me, and you know, at a young age like that, I got exposed to it. But at the age of about 7, my father had a hernia, and he had to go get surgery, and they had him on morphine. And when he got out of the hospital, he was addicted to morphine. Wow! And his brother actually introduced him to heroin, and he became addicted to heroin from age of 7, I think, to date. You're probably still using. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but from 7 to 13, I lived in Santa Ana with them. We moved out of motels, people's garages, little trailers. I lived really a hard life. I see a lot of stuff at a super young age that I probably should have never seen, but my mother and father brought me along. You know, at the age of 13, I was in and out of gangs. One of my friends got shot and killed, and my mother seen that, and she told my father, either you get sober or I'm taking your son away. And a week later, he still wouldn't get sober, and she packed her stuff up, and we left. She got remarried, and we moved back to Huntington Beach. And I seen a lot of stuff at a young age. I grew up super fast at a young age, I think. I never really got to enjoy a childhood. But at 13 to about 15, I was hanging around the wrong people, you know, smoking weed, doing cocaine here and there, drinking alcohol at a super young age like that. And I was just exposed to something that the adults were exposed to, so I was just doing it to be cool or to be a part of the gang or be a part of the people I was hanging out with. My freshman year in high school, I found wrestling, or wrestling found me. My true name is Jacob. In the Bible, Jacob wrestled against an angel. The angel beat him and saved his life. And wrestling has saved my life. I grinded at wrestling. It was just something that I knew I could become great at it. And I started varsity my first year there. And I was just, when I walked into the wrestling room, I've always been a huge WWF fan, which is WWE now. I watch Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Tito Santana, and, Junkyard Dog. I mean, I grew up watching those guys, and I walked into the wrestling room going, wow, where's the ring at? The coach is laughing at me going, that's a different type of wrestling, man. That's professional wrestling. This is college or Olympic style wrestling. I was like, I still get to slam guys in their head, right? It goes, well, if you can get it. And I go, I'm not going to get in trouble, right? They go, no, of course you can. You're not going to get in trouble. This is competition. I was hitched. I was hooked. I was just something that I thought that I could become great at. And like I said, I started varsity my first year, and I just got better and better each and every year. And it was just from the hard work and dedication through wrestling. And
CIF champ.
Yeah, CIF champ. I took 6th in the state, 3rd in the Masters my senior year. And that was only after 3.5 years of wrestling.
That's awesome, man.
When I graduated high school, I told my mom, you know, I'm going to go live on my own. And I thought life was easy. I thought it was just kind of walk in the park, and kind of realize it's savage out there, man.
Yeah.
Life is hard. Life is tough. There's a lot of demands. A lot
No
of things.
mercy.
No mercy. And
Yeah.
everybody will walk all over you if they can. They'll take everything from you. They'll rape everything from you. And I didn't understand that. And I got a job at Allied Moving Service. I was a mover. I worked 16-hour days, and they were hard, long days.
How old?
At 18 years old.
Wow.
And I couldn't keep up with the time. It was like I had to wake up super early in the morning. I had to work super late at night. And in high school, we dabbed around with crystal methamphetamine. And all of a sudden, I started doing it again out of high school. And I got addicted to it. And that was making me work. You know, I was grinding 16-hour days, no problem, partying at night, waking up in the morning, doing it every single day. At probably about the end of that year, I was at a club, and one of the wrestling coaches that I seen when I was growing up in high school came up to me. He's like, "Tito, is it you, man?" "Yeah, what's up, coach?" He's like, "What are you doing with yourself now?" I was like, "Well, I'm just making ends meet. You know, I'm paying my bills in my apartment and, you know, working at a moving service place." He goes, "You ever thought about coming back and wrestling?" I was like, "I would love to. I just don't have no financials to take care of the college, not no for the books." He's all, "I could possibly get you financial aid, man, because you ain't looking good." I go, "What do you mean I'm not looking good? I look fine." Not recognizing it at all. I went home that night, and I looked in the mirror, and I was same height as him now, 6'3", and I was 185 pounds. I'm 230 right now.
Wow.
And I was sucked up, pimples all over my face. And I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize myself. And it scared me because I was turning into my parents. I had a really heart-shaking reality that I had to check myself. And it was just a question. I still do it to this day. I always question myself when I look in the mirror and I say, "What are you doing to yourself right now? Do you want to turn to your parents?" And I was like, "No." I mean, thank God my mother's sober now. My father, I'm not 100% sure if he is, but it was hard. It was a challenging point in my life that I had to make a decision. And at that point, I made the decision. I called my work. I got home that night, slept all day. Monday morning, I wake up, called my work, and I said, "I'm not going to be able to come in today." And they're like, "Well, we need you here." I go, "I want to go check out this college thing." They're like, "No, we need you here. We need you for this shift." I was like, "I can't come in." Like, "Well, you're fired." I go, "Well, you know what? I guess I quit." Walked into the wrestling room. I actually walked into the coach's office at Golden West Junior College, and I said, "I'm here. I want to try. I want to see what this college can really give back to me. I want to wrestle again. I want to get a college degree." And he smiled and he says, "Tito, I think we could help you." Got me financial aid. I got a stipend because I'm Mexican American. I went through college, won the state title that year at Golden West Junior College, and then I started training with a guy by the name of Tank Abbott.
Yeah,
Fought in the
I remember
UFC.
Tank Abbott.
Yeah.
Back he was in the beginning stage.
Yeah.
He was UFC
When he first
6.
started.
Yeah, and so his wrestling coach was Paul Herrera, who was my high school wrestling coach, and he was like, "Hey, come train with Tank." I was like, "He's not gonna punch me, right?" I was never a boxer. I was a wrestler, so I never really understood the boxing
Tank was
game.
crazy, huh?
He's a monster. But I went in and wrestled with him, and I would take him down at will. I mean, it was
Wow.
It was easy, and the coach was like looking, going, "Who is this kid?" And like I said, I was a state champion at the time for Golden West Junior College, 195 pounds, and I just thought that, you know, maybe I could do this fighting thing. I watched a UFC 13, I think it was, Jerry Bolander, who won the tournament. He submitted Kevin Jackson, who was a gold medalist in wrestling for the United States, and he submitted him in the finals. And I was like, Jerry Bolander, this name looks really familiar. And I look back at my high school wrestling dates, and I wrestled him, and I beat him. I think it was like 10-2.
Wow.
I was like, wow, I want to get a chance at this. I told Tank, I go, "Tank, man, give me a fight of this. I want to try this, man." He goes, "You want to fight in this? You sure you want to fight in this?" I go, "No, I want to try. I'm going to train with you. I got boxing guys I've been working with. I go, my hands are pretty heavy. I mean, I want to learn. I want to do this." He goes, "All right, we'll see what we can do." And then May 30th, 1997, I got my first try as an alternate. I was in college. I was a scholarship student at the time, so I couldn't compete as a professional, so I fought for free.
Wow.
First and only UFC fighter to ever fight for free. And
Really?
That's how much. I mean, I love to compete. I wanted to see how good I truly was, and I fought in Augusta, Georgia, UFC 13, May 30th, 1997, and I stopped the guy Wes Britton in 22 seconds. And
That's awesome.
I think that day a star was born.
Man.
I was fortunate. You know, I came back home, and I went back to college because I went to I went to Cal State Bakersfield. I got a full ride to Cal State Bakersfield. Me and the coach didn't see eye to eye there, and I ended up leaving, coming back to Huntington Beach. I got a job at Spanky's adult novelty store. I sold porn. Go figure.
I had a lot of fun, huh?
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun for sure, Mike. Yeah, no, there was a lot of fun. I came back and I fought 3 times. I dominated my next 3 opponents. I fought Frank Shamrock for the world title, and I lost in the end of the 4th round. And it was just by exhaustion. He was just a professional who understood the game, and I was just a young kid who just had a ton of heart. And I pushed him as hard as I possibly could, but I ended up losing to him. I went back to work at Spanky's, and the owner there pulled me aside and says, "Tito, we need to talk." And I thought I was in trouble. I was like, "What do you mean we need to talk?" He's like, "Can you come in my office, sit down?" I sat down. He's like, "I don't think this job's for you." He goes, I watched you fight. He goes, "You're very impressive, and you're vicious." I go, "But I need this job. It pays for my apartment, it pays for my cell phone, it pays for my food." I go, "I need this job." He goes, "I just don't think this job's for you." I go, "Dude, I need this job, please." He goes, "Calm down, settle down." I go, "But I'm here. I'm early all the time. I work I work night shifts. I mean, I put in extra hours. I mean, I need this money." He goes, "How about this? I'll give you a sponsorship where I'll pay for your apartment, I'll pay for your phone, I'll pay for your food, and all you do is train." I swear, the biggest smile on my face was just like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I watched you fight against Frank Shamrock, who is a professional, and you almost beat him." He goes, "If you weren't working the night shifts here, I think you could have been ready for the fight, and you would have become the world champion." I was like,
"Wow, dude."
And it was a blessing. I mean,
Totally.
an angel or looking over me or something, but he took care of me financially for the next year. My next fight was against Vanderlei Silva for the vacant world title, and I became the first middleweight world champion, Mexican-American middleweight world champion for UFC, and I defended him about 5 consecutive times, one of the longest reigning until Johnny Bones Jones beat it. But I think a star was born, man, of hard work and dedication, of always doing the right thing. And I've 21 years fast forward now, I'm still competing.
Man, so much in there, dude.
I mean, that's just little highlights. You understand? I mean, the stuff that I traveled,
For sure.
the stuff I went through as a young kid. I mean, that's what makes me work so hard in not only just in the fight game, but just in life, in life in general.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a religious person. I have gone to a Christian church. I have followed some Mormon people. I mean, I've looked in everything, dabbled in everything, and kind of understand that it's a whole realm of it. All means the same thing: is being a good person, treating people the way you want to be treated, and always be respectful and never step on anybody to get ahead. And I've kept that to my heart. And you know, at the end of the day, I'm an American who works hard. I work hard for what I have. You know, I paid millions and millions and millions of dollars in taxes, and I've made millions of dollars. But when my children are happy and they have smiles on their faces. I mean, I have 3 boys, Jacob, who's 16, Jesse and Journey, who are 9 years old. When they could come home and they could hop on me and saying, "Dad, I love you," and they put a smile on my face, and it's like, I know I'm doing the right thing. When they're only in the 4th grade, my youngest, and they're reading at a 6th grade level, their grades are A's. My oldest, his grades are A's. I'm doing the things my parents weren't doing, you know. I'm looking out for their education, which is super important, and I'm spending time with them, and I'm being there with them. And they're not going to feel the want for love. They're not going to feel the want for affection from their father, as I missed out on it. You know, I missed out a lot of it, and it's not my downfall. I think it's my strength that I try to bring, that I try to give them everything that I never had as a kid. Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, I make it through hard work and dedication. I don't give them things. It's like, okay, here you go. Here's clothes. Here's an iTunes or iPad or iPhone. They don't have iPhones. They don't have Xbox. They don't have none of that. Nice. Not until they're 15 years old. They can't do any of that. Maybe on the weekends they'll play just a little bit if they earn it. They got to earn it. They got to earn everything. Everything they have, they earn. They're never getting anything. Yeah. And it took me a checking point just to actually realize, to notice that, because my oldest, Jacob, I would give him everything. And I come to realize that he felt entitled. He's like, well, you gave it to me that time, I can have it now. It's like, I had to kind of revamp it completely and redo it. And I'm doing it right with my twin boys. Because my oldest son actually is in Arizona with my ex-wife, and she does an amazing job as a mother with him. But it's just one of those things. We all get second chances in life. One way or another, of a lot of things we do.
Yeah. And you giving your eldest son everything that he could possibly want was out of, you know, that desire for you to make a better life for your kids.
Well,
what you had.
It was just I knew what the dirt tastes like.
Right.
I knew what wanting something felt like. You know, I had to steal for things. You know, I had to steal for food. I had to steal for clothes because my parents never gave a shit. You know, they made sure I had a roof over my head. That was pretty much it. You know, my mom did the best as she can do. My father did as best as he can do with a drug problem. My mother got clean for me, and I was lucky for it because she changed my life. And we've had a mini sit down and talks because I came out with a book called This Is Gonna Hurt. It's kind of an autobiography of what I lived through. And I had to tell her because there were some secrets in there that no one knew. And she was like, I can't believe you said those things. I was like, Mom, you gotta understand, those are the things that I lived through. She goes, yeah, but that made me look bad. I go, but Mom, you did those things to make sure that I always be able to survive. Right. I go, it was super tough for you, I understand, but there's other kids that are growing up that live in exactly the same lifestyle, exactly the same realm, and they don't think they don't have any self-worth. They don't think they can make it out of the ghetto. They don't think they can make it out of the streets or their parents being drug addicts and being able to make something of themselves. And I've been able to do that, you know, and I've watched Mike's history of the things he's done, and it's a person who I look up to and I admire because we all have our demons on the inside of us, and we try to make the best we possibly can for our futures. And Mike has done it hand and fist over like no other, and I'm still trying to work to make that happen. I just, it's challenging to be a human being on this earth, man. Yeah. And to be it in a respectable way. And
no doubt.
I'm still doing a good job, though, man.
Yeah.
You're doing a hell of a job.
No doubt, man.
So there were some turning points in your life where somebody believed in you and were able to like inspire you to do better.
Yeah, you know, there was a couple. You know, it was, of course, wrestling coach Paul Herrera who helped me out in wrestling, and those are the times that he would wake up, come to my house at 7 in the morning. We had to go cut weight. I mean, I had 15 pounds to cut to make the weight, but he would sacrifice. He wasn't doing it for any extra money. He wasn't getting paid any extra money. He was doing it just to, I don't know, challenge me or to give me an opportunity to make the weight, to wrestle as hard as I possibly could. But there was the wrestling coach at Golden West Junior College who looked out and see a troubled kid who was going to go down the wrong area and gave me an opportunity. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think I had to look in the mirror myself and recognize those things and take responsibility for my actions and not blame it on anybody else.
Yeah, that's super important. That's what our organization, Standing United, that's what we do, is there's a lot of people out there struggling and they don't know which way to go because when they're stuck with their demons all day, just tripping on stuff and they don't know a way out and they get involved in, you know, the gangs and the meth and the heroin. And what we do is we're out there in the trenches. You know, and when someone raises their hand and they want some help, we're able to guide them and show them the way out. You know, we'll get them into detoxes or programs or jobs. We work with a lot of homelessness. We work with a lot of facilities out there that, you know, that'll give these guys a shot. And, you know, that was the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life was a mentor, somebody to show me the way out. Just like I had the privilege of hearing you at the treatment center, giving back to the guys there. And motivating and inspiring them that they can change. It's super important that they hear that because when they're out on the streets or they're, you know, just listening to their own brains trying to figure a way out, a lot of times they go back to heroin, they go back to meth, and they need an example. And you're definitely an example of overcoming adversity.
Yeah, no, I have many times. I mean, there's many challenges. I mean, there's times where I go back and, I mean, would speed help me at this time? And I was like, no, that was a horrible feeling to be like that, to be dependent on something. You know, I at a young age to have that, I'm glad I did it at a young age because as I'm older, I know what's right from, I could confuse right from wrong and make sure I always do the right things. But at the same time, it's just having the will, you know, free will, as they say. I think about it every single day, and my kids is what saved my life, my children. And there are people out there who don't have children and they're suffering by themselves, and they need to just be responsible for their actions. They're responsible for themselves. You know,
I think that's so important, man.
It is.
You know, what you're saying, that's such a difficult thing for people, and I think increasingly difficult with technology and all the shit that we see and, you know, trying to aspire to this idea of perfection. But, you know, it's all about looking yourself in the mirror, you know, and going, you know, what do I want? Who am I going to be in this life? You know, what am I going to do with this life?
And it's setting goals, you know.
Sometimes we need somebody to point us in the right direction.
Yeah.
We need some guidance, a
No
coach,
doubt.
mentor, people to believe in us.
Yeah, I mean,
Belief in a higher power.
Yeah, believe in a higher power. I mean, at the same time, I was always a guy to look outside of television. Was my learning curve. I learned the facts of life from literally watching the facts of life. You know? Seriously, watching movies, and because I didn't understand what love was. You know, watching a movie, watching a love film, that's what made me understand what love was. I didn't understand, you know, what hate was. I got mad at things, but I didn't understand what hate was until I watched a movie that had showed what hate truly was and how a person was able to get away from the hate and to accept things that they were doing. And that's through my whole childhood, and I still do it. I'm 43 years old, and I still do it when I watch movies. I don't watch a movie for excitement, for action. I watch a movie to see what the storyline is and what they're trying to get out of it. What is the director or producer trying to explain in the film? And I've learned so much that I could actually, you know, realize what's going on and what's the truth and things.
No doubt, man. I think movies and movies in particular have played that role in my life for sure.
Yeah, there's a film out called The Shack, and
I saw that.
Dude, that movie was just
deep.
It was a deep film. You know, it's about this guy who actually goes out and he has hatred because his daughter was raped and killed, and he goes out and someone writes him a note, and he actually goes to the shack, and he falls, hits his head, and the story kind of gets a little turned right there, but he falls, hit his head, and he goes back, and it shows the person who raped his daughter, and it says, how can you judge this person if you don't know his history? And it shows his history where his father was doing the same thing to him, and that's how the cycle continued on. I mean, the movie's great. You guys got to watch. It's called The Shack. I don't want to waste too much time reading about it, but it was just one of those things that.
Who was the star? Sam Worthington?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's like forgiveness, you know.
It was forgiveness.
Forgiveness isn't always about like forgiving the other person. It's a lot more forgiving yourself.
Forgiving yourself.
For carrying around this hatred, for carrying around this anger, you know, and it's...
and that's something that I've learned. I mean, I think I learned just this last year because I've had so much hatred towards my father, but I never really understood it as I get older now that I am 43 and I do understand. I'm a man, I have kids, and I forgive him finally. Like this year, just this year. I mean, 43. I mean, it's been, 32 years. But it took me this long just to forgive him because he was only doing as good as he knew.
Yeah.
As having an addictive personality or having an addiction period to do as good as he only could do. And it's hard to accept things like that. But a lot of people, if you live your life in the agony, pain of hatred, it's going to consume your body completely, being negative, things like that. I mean, it'll consume your body completely. And it's funny because I always look at people and I say, no, I wonder how I can help this person. Oh, that person has it hard. You know, I wonder how I could just help just a little bit. Instead of saying, oh, that guy got a problem, that guy's a drug addict, that guy's a problem, oh, that guy has some shitty clothes on, you know, that guy, the way he carries himself, oh, that guy's horrible. Once again, it's feeding into the negative ideas of things, and I think that is something that a lot of people should not do, is go out of your way of saying, walk to the person, hey, how you doing? How's your day today?
Right.
Just to do just that little small thing that took you 2 seconds.
Yeah. A little act of kindness.
Act of kindness will change someone's life completely because I do it all the time.
No doubt.
I mean, I'm a bigger guy, 6'3", 225. I walk by and a girl walks by. I'm like, hi, how are you? That's it. She's like, oh, hi, how are you? And she's like, put a smile on her face. Like, wow. And the nice guy compared to someone walking by and not saying a word and just being completely standoffish to another person. And I think that's what humanity truly should be, is just being a good person and reaching out to others that sometimes they do need help, or sometimes they knew, hey, you doing all right, man, today? And you can make it through today, man. Today is a tough day, but you can make it through today. And
no doubt,
just being willing to give back. I think that's super important.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's really difficult. Like a lot of people say, you know, like love, compassion, kindness, forgiveness. You know, sometimes it doesn't always come real easy, and it takes a lot of courage.
Courage is
to practice. I mean, courage is primary.
To step out of isolation.
To step out and be tolerant of people, to be, you know, loving towards people, and to be compassionate. You know, sometimes it's you know, it does take a lot of courage to do those things. You know,
doubt.
But it can make the difference between life and death sometimes.
For sure.
With someone giving them 5 minutes. Sometimes, you know, when like we were talking about our demons, you know, someone will be wrapped up, and you know, I got a lot of different treatment centers, and you'll see people that are just wrapped up in confusion and pain, and they want to leave, and sometimes just 5 minutes of talking to them can make a humongous difference in somebody's life.
Sometimes they just need a little explanation. You know, they need to wonder why. You know, wondering that they're not the only ones dealing through that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
I had a super interesting experience the other day. I was going on a hike with my wife, and we go over on Fryman Canyon in the valley, and we're getting ready to start on the hike, and I see this dude peeling out of the parking lot, and his trunk is like flying open. And I could tell it's not like he has something in there that doesn't fit and he's got it tied or something. You know, you might see that sometimes. Yeah. So I like point because I noticed it, and I'm like, I don't want this guy's stuff to start flying all over the place, you know? And he peels out. He's waiting at the stoplight before turning onto Laurel Canyon. And he sees me pointing, and I'm like, yo, you know, about to say your trunk is open. And this guy, full of piss and vinegar, dude.
Oh, no.
You're trying to be helpful.
He whips his car around, makes a U-turn, flies up next to my wife. My wife is she's like freaked out. She's like, I thought he was going to fucking hit us. And I'm totally chill, dude. You know, I've been diving deep in my meditation. I meditate every day. Cool. Yeah. I'm calm as hell. And I realize when this guy flips this U-turn like he does, I'm like, oh, this guy's pissed. And he's a young African-American dude. And in my head, I'm like, he thinks I'm some big white racist who's trying to start some shit. And he comes up, he flies up, he's like, yo, motherfucker, what's the fucking problem? And I'm like, no, dude, your trunk is open. And he just like couldn't believe
checking reality
that I just was trying to help the guy out. Right. And he's like, and I'm like, you want me to close your trunk for you, man? And I go over there, I close his trunk, and he was it was like he was frothing at the mouth to have this confrontation. And I was like, dude, I didn't want you to lose your stuff, man.
Confused guy.
And he was totally, I felt like in that moment I'd really sort of shocked him because he was expecting to have this aggressive confrontation, and yet it was just another human being trying to help him out. Yeah, that's awesome. It was really interesting, and it was cool, man. But something you said, Tito, you know, I want to hit this, you know, with Danny here. Your dad's heroin addiction started with him going to the hospital and getting hooked on morphine.
Correct.
You know, that's crazy. That happens to so many people.
I've had 8 surgeries myself. I've had ACL replaced in my left knee, ACL replaced in my right knee, L4-5, S1 fused on my lower back, T3, T2, T2, T1, and C7 disc replacement. Wow. I've had C6, C7 fused. I've had C4, C5 disc replacement.
And how
C3.
Can you fight, man? How can you fight?
Holy shit,
I get up in the morning and I can't walk sometimes.
No shit.
How do you fight?
I challenge my mind. I think it's a body challenge, but I just challenge my mind knowing that I can do it. I believe in it. And when I believe in it and I let my body accept it, it happens. You know, I've been in 21 years of competition, but after having all these surgeries, every time I get done with the surgery, the pain goes away, and I'm on painkillers, on Vicodins.
So you've been prescribed them, you've taken them.
I've taken them, and it got to a point where just this last year, after my last neck surgery, I've had the 3 disc replacements, that I was eating probably about 1,200 milligrams of Vicodin per day. And I got to a point where my pain was gone, but I could feel I was always agitated, and I was yelling at my kids or something. And I was like,
I felt that myself.
You know what, man? I got to stop.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve in Las Vegas, I said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. My girlfriend went out with a couple of her friends, and I stayed in the hotel room, and I cold turkeyed it.
Wow.
I sat in the hotel. We were in there for 5 days, and then finally got in our car and drove back. I remember hurting on the way home. Sat in my room for another 2 weeks, and it was the hardest thing that I ever gone through. But I was able to kick it. I was able to say, you know what, enough's enough, and I wasn't in pain anymore. The only pain that I was the addiction of eating painkillers.
Right.
And I was able to walk away from it. And you know, as a young kid, you know, I was introduced to marijuana super young, but something to kind of take the agitation of having the withdrawals from painkillers as well as marijuana before I go to bed at night. And,
No doubt.
You know, there's so many people out there right now that want to get off the heroin, that want to get off the painkillers, but that fear of withdrawal, that fear of detoxing, and then a lot of people, they get on the painkillers and then they go back to their doctor and their doctor won't prescribe them anymore. And so now they're withdrawing, and lots of people, they wind up going to heroin.
Right.
You know, and then they get strung out on heroin for years.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't make it. You know, I mean, it's an epidemic right now.
I think that was one of the things that I would suffer so bad from the detox off the painkillers. Like I said, after 8 surgeries, I've gone through it 8 times.
Yeah.
But seeing how my parents were and see how they had, my dad had everything. He had his own business, everything, and he lost everything. Everything was lost. Our family was lost. Everything was lost. But that was my fear, to never do heroin. Heroin was always the one. Don't ever do heroin, because you will lose everything, because it is the worst addiction that anybody could ever try or ever do of anything at all. And I've always was lucky enough to stay away from it. But the painkillers was something that I was subscribed by a doctor. You know, my ex, Jenna Jameson, she actually was addicted to I don't know, I haven't talked to her in 5 years, to Oxycontins. And
brutal.
She, after one of my fights I fought in 2012 against Forrest Griffin, I was bruised up. My face was banged up. I was in a little bit of pain, actually a lot of pain. And she went to go hand me one, and I go, "What's this?" She goes, "Oh, that's an Oxycontin." And my trainer was next to me, so no. I go, and I automatically knew. I knew exactly what it was. I mean, it's literally synthetic.
Pharmaceutical
heroin.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, you take this back. You're not taking these, right?" She goes, No, I just got it from my friend. And that's when it all started. And that was in 2012, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And I can't see how people. I can't see how people do it, but I just I wish a lot more people would recognize it and seeing how hard and how bad it can change a person's life or a family. I mean, it destroys families. It's just one of those things that, you know, the doctors don't realize what they're prescribed, because they're making money from it. At the end of the day, it's the high mighty dollar for them, and you know, all the prescriptions and everything that are given out to America or people across the world in general. You know, there's other ways of helping with those pains.
Right.
And I think marijuana can fill that void.
Definitely, man. Definitely. That's a big thing that, you know, I advocate for. I played in the NFL for 6 years. You know, handful of surgeries, back, shoulder, you know, neck pain, and all of that's dealt with as pills in the league, you know, and so
addictive pills.
Addictive pills.
Bad stuff.
The Oxycontin, the Vicodin, you know, and that can all be remedied with cannabis, you know. Mike, you've had your struggles with painkillers. What was that? What was your experience dealing with opiates and stuff like that?
I loved the stuff. It was awesome. It took away the pain right away. I couldn't walk, and the next thing you know, I could walk. So I'm saying, "Wow, this is heaven's sake, heaven takes." So I went. One day, I was hanging out with my wife, and I just threw up. I couldn't take it anymore. But I still loved the stuff. I just threw up, and then I started getting sick.
Oh, they started making
withdrawn.
you sick.
Yeah,
withdrawn, detoxing.
Yeah, it's brutal, man, what they do to you. I mean, they can help numb the pain.
It's only a numb.
Yeah.
Just putting a bandage over it.
Yeah.
Exactly. The temporaries.
Doesn't let you heal.
Crazy.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, you'll have an injury and they'll give you some therapy where you could probably get out of that pain and recoup in like 3 weeks, maybe a month.
Yeah.
But they'll prescribe you 6 months worth of freaking Oxycontin.
Right.
You know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pills. It's insane.
It's
crazy.
Confusing,
you know?
I just take the pain. I can't just do the pills. My wife won't let me take the pills. We all get very scared when the doctor gives us the pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No need for
the
pills.
Oxycontin, I just don't understand how a doctor could prescribe that, knowing the side effects, knowing the things that people go through from it, and how it ruins our country.
People love that stuff. Believe it or not, you love it. Boom, takes away that pain right away.
Yeah.
But I mean, hopefully that thing can get fixed. And, you know, with Canada making marijuana legal, you know, hopefully the rest of the United States will follow the suit. As
I think they have to follow the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Denver has. I mean, all these other states are following. So, you know, look at Holland. I mean, Holland, they have no problem with it.
Yeah. Portugal, the same. They've legalized all drugs, and drug addiction has gone down. You know, it's a wellness, it's a well-being issue for human beings, you know.
I mean, and I think it separates the people who don't want to do it. They won't do it.
Exactly.
The people who are going to do it, they're going to be on a level of not wanting to steal or not causing trouble or not doing the things that is wrong in our laws.
Right.
Or there's a lawful side of it that it's controlled, and I think that's super important.
Yeah, no doubt. Have you dabbled in the CBD stuff at all?
I do. Actually, there's a CBD drink that I just started.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so that was because I do the lotion every night for my neck, of course. I mean, after having all of my discs fused and disc replacements, I go through pain because I wrestle. I mean, I'm doing jiu-jitsu. Guys are pulling on my neck, snapping me down, front headlocking, getting chokes on me, and I got to fight them off. I'm hitting double legs, hitting single legs, taking punches, taking jabs, right hands, uppercuts. I mean, head kicks. I mean,
too much going on in there.
Right.
Too much going on.
You know, Mike, it's like you get a boxing's checkers, and then you got MMA of being chess. And you got two games, you got to figure out who could win the game the right way. And in chess, that's our game. And it's so hard because there's so many ways to win the game. But in boxing, it's forward, back, side to side. With you made a little difference where it was forward, back, side to side, up, down. I mean, you changed angles like no other. I mean, I still watch all your mitt work stuff, your bag work stuff.
Thank you.
And there is nobody in the world who's ever hit a bag or hit mitts the way you hit the ferocious punches that you do. I try to mimic when I train. My boxing trainer's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm trying to watch the same thing as Mike doing, man." I'm a little older, but I'm still trying to get it. It's just that mentality, though. It's that mentality going out, either kill or be killed. Sure. And that's the way, you know, in competition or in life in general. Sometimes it's like, you know, it's a vicious cycle, and I look up to Mike a lot because through my whole career, I've always never wanted to be the person that couldn't do it. I've always wanted to be the one to do it. And
exactly.
I mean, I remember back in 2001 at the MGM, at Mandalay Bay, Mike came walking in, and he came sat in my dressing room, and he was sitting down on the floor and watching me hit pads. And I'll never forget this. And he looked up, he goes, "Man, motherfucker, you kick like a fucking mule." I'll never forget this. And
I love it, dude.
I was just like so happy in my breath.
You were on cloud nine.
I was on cloud nine. I was like, dude, this is Mike Tyson in my fucking dressing room right now. I got to go fanboy out on that point right there.
Hell yeah.
Like, it was the coolest thing. I gave him a T-shirt, and it said Spanky's XXX on it. It said Tito Ortiz on it, and I had a flame beanie. And then his next fight, when he fought Francois Botha, he came walking out with the punishment flame beanie. And I just got to say thank you for that, Mike. That was one of those times in my life where I was like, man, this is pretty damn cool. As a kid, watching you in high school, and then through my career, and just always being that one that wasn't able to make it. I mean, I don't think my life can compare to yours because you've been through many great things, made challenges. But I kind of compare it as we came from nothing and we weren't supposed to make it, and we made it. And we continue to do it, and we're able to do it by showing through our kids, you know. And they said the best resemblance of a man is through his child's. And my children, I'm happy about it, and I can imagine you are the same thing.
I'm happy, yes.
It's great. And this is just one champ talking to another one. Like I say, I'm still competing. I still love it. I still have the hunger. I still have the grind. And I remember Mike said, not to quote exactly, but he's talking about walking to the cage, and people saying, "How do you feel when you walk into the cage?" And he's saying, "I'm in such fear of losing for my fans, losing for my family. But by the time I walk into the cage, I'm unstoppable. Or I walk into the ring, I'm unstoppable. And every time in my fight, every time I walk out, every single time I get ready for my fight, I have that same mentality. I'll be walking out, I have tears coming down my eyes. Because I have the fear is leaving my body. So once I do step into the cage, I feel invincible.
Amazing.
And there's no feeling in the world like it. And I think Mike's the only one who could feel a feeling like that, or other fighters can feel a feeling like that, because it's the most loneliest feeling in the world to be a fighter.
Yeah.
Because it's you, only you. You got to get up and train. You got to get up and run. You got to get up and do weight training. You got to get up and spar. You got to get up and wrestle. You got to get up and do all these things. And
then you got to get in the ring
by yourself.
Yeah.
And then no one else to help you. And you're like, all right, I got to survive. Yep. And then it's a vicious competition. But, you know, at the end of the day, I got to make sure I prepare for it. And I mean, that's my little story about Mike.
It's amazing, dude.
No,
thank you for sharing that, man. What else, man? What's on the horizon for you as far as what are you doing with your life?
We've seen you acting a lot.
Yeah, man.
We have that in your life?
Yeah, I'm getting opportunities. You know, I got to turn down a lot of them because I don't want to be stereotyped to the fighter guy. I've turned down so many fighter films. I want to get an opportunity just to show my acting, and it's still in a development. I still got to learn. I still got to work for it. It's really hard. I mean, the memorization of lines, of making sure you get the same feeling of the lines they're trying to get out of it, the characters you got to build. I mean, the acting classes that I took helped out a lot of find the character, building the 20 questions of who this person is, where he's from, who's his brother, who's his dad, what was he doing when he was 14 years old, just kind of filling that character. I'm still learning. It's still a process.
Who's your acting coach?
Actually, I worked with Aaron McPherson out of Beverly Hills.
Sweet.
And he's actually helped me out a lot of things. Another guy, Patrick Barbic, that's out of Beverly Hills also.
Nice.
But I have other things that I've worked on. Of course, in 2005, I did the Celebrity Apprentice with Donald Trump, our president. And I was the guy questioning him. I was always the guy asking him, you know, how do you become a billionaire?
Hey, brother.
We got to break in.
Yeah. Nice.
Story. He brought you guys some juice. I'm starting to deliver now. Delivery guy.
Awesome, man. We got our juices coming in.
All right.
How are you? Good. Producer Britton.
All right.
Check that out.
The green one for Mike, and the other one for you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
I'll be back. Thank
You're
you.
not, guys.
Thanks, brother. Juice delivery to the pod.
Yes, by the former world champ, former UFC world champ,
Hell
producer
yeah,
Britton.
dude.
Very, very cool.
That's awesome. That's how we throw down at Tyson Ranch, man.
Right?
We don't fool around here.
So that's awesome, man. You got acting.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, like when I went back and I was doing the Celebrity Apprentice with Trump, and I always got next to his side, and everybody else that were there doing it, they were just partying or doing their thing, and I was the guy next to him asking him questions. How do you become a millionaire? How do you become a billionaire? What do you do to make your businesses? I mean, I was questioning him everything, and he said, well, Tito, one thing, I never stop working. Even when I'm sleeping, I have people working for me. Because if you want to continue to stay a millionaire, you got to have 5 sources of income coming in every year.
Told me the same thing.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
5 sources of income.
5 streams of revenue.
5 streams of revenue coming in every year. So I was like, So now all of a sudden he stapled something in my mind. He branded something in my mind that I have not stopped working on since he told me that.
Cool.
So I have my clothing company, Punishment Athletics, which is an athletic wear, strictly for athletes.
This tank.
Yeah, it's tank.
That's dope, dude. I'd rock one of those.
Yeah. I'll send you guys some gear.
Hell yeah.
And then I started my car business. It's actually a wholesale car business at Mannheim in Fontana called TO Auto Group. We run Lane 9, run 150 cars a week every Thursday. I have a management company, which is called Primetime 360 with my partner, George Pragin. We manage about 22 fighters now. I think we just signed our second one. Don Madge, who just fought in the last UFC, won by knockout. Chris Cyborg.
See any talent? Oh, yeah, Chris Cyborg.
Yeah, Cyborg too.
Nice.
But there's a lot of new up-and-coming talent, but it's just making sure.
I was just getting ready to say, you got any talent? They said Chris Cyborg.
Yeah. But, you know, it's just one of those things that I still looking for that 5th one. You know, this 4th one may be this promotion with Oscar De La Hoya doing Golden Boy MMA.
Cool.
But the acting thing, I think, is the 5th. But still, it's just like I say, it's a process. I mean, it's a grind. You got to work every day doing it.
No doubt, man.
It is an art. You got to make sure you just perfect it. You know, I look guys like Dwayne Johnson, how great he truly is.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
But it just shows the hard work that he does. He's always working, and I respect that so much.
Yeah.
It's the same grind that I've had through my career of fighting. But
no doubt,
if I'm able to kind of transition that into that type of career, I would love to. But like I said, you got to put in the work.
No doubt, man. I've thought about that myself, getting into acting after my NFL career. And it's like, man, I busted my ass on a straight line trajectory for 12 years before I made it to the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, if I want to be an actor, it's going to take another decade.
Another 10 years.
Of hard-ass work and focus.
Yes.
You know, just chiseling away a little bit at a time, like you said, man. Well, man, I think... That's pretty awesome, dude. Thank you for coming in today.
Really, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
Mike,
Yes.
another great one, brother.
I can't believe
as always.
it. Really good stuff.
Awesome. All right, guys, until next time, we're out.